I met him on a rainy afternoon in Manhattan, and I wasn't even looking for anyone. I had just stepped out of the coffee shop with my umbrella half broken by the wind, my tote bag soaked at the corners, and my mood slightly more fragile than usual. The city was loud, messy, and alive, but I was lost in my own quiet, searching for something I couldn't name. Then came him, Luka Maddox. He stood by the crosswalk, tall and striking, with soaked black curls and a charcoal gray coat clinging to his broad shoulders. His presence wasn't just noticeable, it was impossible to ignore. Eyes met. His were the color of stormy ocean tides, deep and unreadable. He gave me a nod, just a nod, and I felt my stomach flutter in a way it hadn't in years. It wasn't love at first sight, not exactly, but it was something. Pulse, a spark, an ache. A whisper that something bigger than me had just entered my world. Luka was an interior architect. He told me that 5 minutes into our accidental coffee shop conversation later that week. I had ducked into the same place again, and so had he. Coincidence? Maybe. Destiny. I was starting to believe in it. "I've seen you here before," he said, smirking. "I noticed," I replied. "Didn't think you were the coffee shop loitering type." He leaned closer. "Only when it rains." We talked for an hour and somehow it felt like 5 minutes. He asked questions like he really wanted the answers. He laughed at my jokes, really laughed. By the time I walked out into the street again, the rain had stopped, but the heat in my chest hadn't. It didn't take long for things to escalate between us. There was chemistry from the beginning, wild, raw, and undeniable. Luka was the kind of man who made you forget your worries just by looking at you, and made your skin burn from the inside with a simple brush of his hand. But it wasn't just physical attraction. There was something deeper, an emotional tension, a curiosity, a tug-of-war between desire and restraint that made everything feel intense and magnetic. On our third date, we walked along the East River after dinner. The lights of the city danced across the water, and the breeze carried the scent of salt and summer. "I want to know everything about you," he said, stopping suddenly and facing me. "Everything is a lot," I whispered. "I've got time," he replied, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Then he kissed me, soft at first, then with growing urgency. My arms wrapped around his neck, and his hands found the small of my back. The city blurred around us, and I remember thinking, this is what falling feels like. Luka had a way of holding back just enough to make me want more. And I was drawn to that. He wasn't boastful or arrogant. He was quietly confident, powerful in his presence, and incredibly gentle when he needed to be. Still, there was something about him. An edge, a shadow, a hunger. The first night we spent together was both overwhelming and unforgettable. It wasn't about what happened, it was about how it felt. We were like two storms colliding. He was everywhere, all at once. His hands, his voice, the way he whispered my name like it was something sacred. My body didn't know whether to tremble or melt. He was massive, not just in stature but in intensity. His emotions, his depth, his need. I had never experienced someone so fully. Afterward, lying in his arms, I whispered, "I don't believe you were so huge. I couldn't keep it. I mean you this moment. It's more than I expected." Luka chuckled, the sound low and soothing. "I'm not going anywhere." But I wasn't sure I could hold on to him. Not because he didn't want to be held, but because I didn't trust myself to be enough. I had always kept my heart protected. Past relationships had taught me that love often comes with expiration dates. But with Luka it felt different. Felt terrifying. He noticed my hesitation. "Hey," he said one night, tracing his fingers down my arm as we lay beneath his linen sheets. "What are you thinking?" "That this can't be real," I said. "That I'll mess it up." He kissed my shoulder. "You can't mess up something that's meant to be." But I didn't believe in fairy tales. Not until the night he showed me I didn't have to be afraid of myself anymore. He took me out of the city, to a cabin near the mountains, just the two of us. The weekend was cold, but inside we were nothing but warmth. He cooked for me. We played old records. We talked about everything, From childhood fears to dreams we'd never told anyone. That night, in front of the fireplace, Luca wrapped a blanket around us and looked into my eyes. "You feel everything so deeply," he said. "That's not a weakness. That's what makes you unforgettable." I tried not to cry, but he saw the way my eyes glistened. "You're not just beautiful," he said softly. "You're brave. And I'm not going to let you push me away." It wasn't just a line. It was a promise. We made love that night like it was the first and last time. Slow, intentional, connected. His touch made me feel safe, cherished, whole. I didn't care about control anymore. I let myself be vulnerable. I let myself be his. And that changed everything. Back in the city, our lives resumed their rhythm. But we were different. Closer. Stronger. I found myself needing him more than I wanted to admit. And for once, I didn't feel weak for it. One afternoon, he surprised me at my office with flowers and a note that read, "You're still the best thing that's ever happened to me. Just in case you forgot." I didn't forget. Not for a second. But love, even when it's real, isn't always easy. Luca was offered a job. His dream project, in Paris. A 6-month design contract that would skyrocket his career. He didn't want to leave me. But he also didn't want to give up his future. When he told me, I smiled through my fear. "You have to go," I said. He cupped my face in his hands. "Only if you promise to wait. Only if you promise to come back," I replied. We spent our last night together, clinging to each other. Every kiss felt heavier, every embrace longer, like we were memorizing the shape of each other. The morning he left, I almost told him I loved him. But the words caught in my throat. We video chatted every day. Shared photos, songs, secrets. He sent me sketches of the buildings he was working on. And I sent him poems I'd never shown anyone else. But distance has a way of testing even the strongest hearts. There were moments I doubted. Times I cried myself to sleep, wondering if he'd forget how we felt together. Then, one Friday night after nearly 6 months, my doorbell rang. I opened the door, and there he was. Luca. Taller. And holding a box with my favorite pastries. "You didn't tell me you were coming." I gasped, my heart racing. "I didn't want to give you time to overthink it," he grinned. "I just needed to see you." He stepped inside, set the pastries down, and pulled me into his arms. Everything fell back into place. His scent, his warmth, his heartbeat. The ache of missing him dissolved in that one moment. He kissed me long and deep and whispered, "I'm back. For good." We didn't talk much after that. Our bodies spoke louder than words ever could. He kissed every part of me like he was reclaiming it. His hands explored like they were relearning home. And when we finally laid tangled in my sheets, breathless and whole again, I whispered, "I still don't believe you were so huge. I mean your love, your presence." I couldn't keep it all. It was too much. He smiled, brushing his fingers down my cheek. "That's because it wasn't meant to be kept. It was meant to be shared." And from that moment on, I stopped trying to hold on so tightly, and just let myself feel. Luca didn't just show me what passion could be. He showed me what love felt like when it was honest, patient, and unafraid. And I'll never forget the way he made me believe in something bigger than myself. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment.